And I think that's a fundamental difference in our lives and in our relationships. It's a huge piece of it. It's really at the heart of my work and of my life, you know? So every trauma process, you know, of nations or of individuals demands the acknowledgement of what happened. And that acknowledgement involves remorse and guilt for the hurt and the harm that it caused, even if you don't feel guilty for the act itself and you think the act is justified. Mm-hmm. The consequences of the act on the other person is where the guilt and the remorse must take place. Without that, there is very little option for repair. If I don't feel that you even know what you did to me, you my dad, you my boss, you my political enemy, I mean, that it's really at the root. So after you do the remorse and the guilt, the next part is to be really careful that you don't sink into the self. Now I'm going back to relationships, into the shame. I'm such a terrible person. How could I do something like this? So I feel so bad about myself that I still can't feel bad about you. Now that's narcissism. That's the different story. The point is not for you to still think that you're at the center. You were at the center when you hurt, and now you're at the center of your own wound. It's really a process of reckoning with the other person. And it's slow, it's challenging for some, and it's immediate for others. And then I think the next piece in a relationship is not just to apologize and to show your remorse, but it's actually to show that you value the other person. Because hurting a person, and especially when it's betrayal and careless, is a devaluation of the other person. You didn't matter. That me mattered more than you. For whatever the reasons, it was still selfish, and I devalued you. And to become the vigilante of a relationship is that you become the person who protects the relationship by showing that the other person really matters. And in detail, that sometimes means, you know, how are you today? Is there anything you want to talk about? Do you still think about it? You know, this is a big one to carry every day. Are you able to go to see this movie? Can we, you know, just without being so afraid that every time you ask, you're going to get blamed again or you're going to feel so bad about yourself. It's a little bit step out of yourself and just reach out and just check in. Half the time when you say, how are you? And do you want to talk? The person says, no, I don't. But I just wanted to know that you are prepared to in case I needed to. Set the conditions. Make me feel that you value me and our relationship, which you have just trashed. And then the third thing is what I call the erotic recovery. It's the regeneration or the generation of new cells. And you know, I need a new skin to come over the scab. That's the real, you know, repair is not yet healing. The healing is, I know I hurt myself somewhere. It's here. I can feel it when I touch it, but I don't feel it the whole time. It's not front and center every moment of my obsessive rumination. But when I touch it, it's tender, it's wounded, it's a place that I need to make sure not to hit again. And don't hurt me again. And don't do this to me again. I can't recover from that twice. It's that vulnerable. And then it says, let's go do new things. You know, erotic recovery is not about comfortable and familiar and the return to the status quo. Erotic recovery is about new, risky, curious, playful, unknown imagination outside of the comfort zone, so that we can see ourselves anew as who we are and who we are together. And I think that's where the revival takes place. It's hopeful, it's possibility, it's adventure, it's got that energy.
Beautiful.